Hi, this is Mindy Fiskus, Digital Access Coordinator for the Learning Technology Center of Illinois and Illinois State E-Rate Coordinator, here with a demo of how to attach a new contract to your EPC portal in order to attach it to a 471 form. So first, a big thank you goes out to Hudsonville School District for once again being our example. Appreciate you being willing to work with us today. We are going to do a sample contract here in the system in order to attach it to the 471. For those of you who have been in the program for quite a while, these new contract attachments over the last few years have replaced the item 21 attachments that we used to file after the form. We now have to do it first so we can attach it in the form. So in order to put in a new contract here from your EPC landing page, you need to click on the name of the school district, either from here in the welcome window or right down here in the My Entities. Both links will take you to the same information page here for the district. And on this page, you're going to choose Contracts from the submenu. So again, school district name and then Contracts. This contract page will show you a listing of all of the contracts on file for the district already. But in order to add a new contract, you will have to choose Manage Contracts from the upper right-hand corner. From this page, we want to add a new contract. So I've already created a sample document. I'm going to click on Add New Contract, and I'm going to call my new contract Practice Contract. From here, there's also a section here that you can call it, or you can name it whatever you would like. It's a good idea to put in FY 1920 for the year that you signed the contract. Just helps you to sort them and figure out which one you're referring to. I would also put the vendor name or the service here in the title, just making it easy to find. Again, this is a name that works for you. If you have a contract number, you are welcome to put it here on the contract number line, though you are not required to put in a contract number. Clicking Save and Continue will take us to the next of many pages. The next thing it wants to know is, do you want to upload a copy of your contract? This is not required, but is an excellent idea. If you have a copy of your contract, you would click Yes, and then upload it. And again, I made a sample practice contract, just a Word document here. In my documents, I believe I named it Pretend Contract for E-Rate. And it is just simply a Word document with one line in it. In your case, you could upload a Word document, a PDF, anything that your contract is saved as. I always recommend PDFs are a universal form what everyone can read. But you can see there, it is attached to the contract. And over here on the side, it wants us to put in a description. So I'm just going to put Practice Contract. If this was for internet access, which is the example that I'm going to do, you might put down internet access from said provider, and then maybe the speed that you're getting for all the buildings, something like that. I'm going to click Save and Continue again. And on the next page, it asks, is this based on a state master contract? In most cases, the answer here is no. It is also not based on an award schedule. There is a circumstance where there are some state master contracts available through Illinois Century Network. If that was the case, you would put a yes here. Otherwise, it would be no. The multiple award schedule is the idea that the state would maybe award multiple vendors, and then you would do a mini bid and select a vendor from a very few. So that is no on this one as well. Clicking Save and Continue should take us to information about piggybacking. It wants to know, can other applicants piggyback off the contract? You can click on the question for a little bit more information on that practice in our state. I'm not aware of any. It would explicitly say so in your contract. And also, it is not piggybacked off of someone else's contract. So the answers there again are no. So all no's so far. Then clicking Save and Continue will take us to the next page where it says, was there a 470 posted? And the answer is always yes to that. There needs to be a 470 posted for all services you're requiring from E-Rate. Up here in the corner, it wants to know how many bids were received. So for our example, I'm going to say 3. This indicates to USAC that there was a bidding matrix that was used to evaluate 3 bids, and this was my winning bid. So puts them on notice there. It also then allows me to search for a 470. The school district bin is already pre-populated, so if I click search here, it will find me all the 470s on file for our Hudsonville School District example. I'm going to do a quick search by funding year so that I can get this year's 470 at the top. So again, you would choose the appropriate 470 for the year you signed the contract. In most cases, if you're adding a contract this year, it is this year's, which starts with a 19. If this is a contract that demonstrates an increase in bandwidth from an existing contract, you would want to choose the contract from the existing year that you signed. So again, if you are in year 2 or 3 of your contract and this is just indicating an increase of bandwidth and dollar amount, you would want to attach it on the original year. I'm going to choose my 470 and say save and continue. And that should take us to the next page where it wants again an account number if you have it, ABC 123. If you do not, that is not required. You can leave it blank. But it also wants to know who your service provider is. I'm going to use Illinois Century Network as our example. If you have on your contract or you happen to know the SPIN of the service provider, you can also search by that. I'm going to do a search by name here and look up Illinois Century Network. No, let's see here. Oh, let me take the space out and see if that'll help me out. There we go. Illinois Century Network, choosing that as my provider and going to say save and continue. Again, if you can't locate your particular provider, reach out to them and ask for their SPIN number or official name per E-Rate. The next page wants to know, is this a multi-year contract? I'm going to choose yes because a lot of our contracts are 3 or 5-year contracts. And then it's going to say, what is the date you awarded your contract? So just for my example, I'm going to go back to the November chosen date here to show you what happens if I'll take it back a few months earlier to see what happens if you choose a date that has not waited the 28 days. You'll get this warning here that says you have entered a contract date that was before your 28-day window, and it will want you to go ahead and choose a date that is after that 28-day window. If you find that your 28 days is not up when you choose today as your date, you will want to wait and attach your contract after the 28 days has expired. And at that time, you can go ahead and file your 471. You should get notification from the EPC system when your 28 days has been completed. You're really not supposed to choose a provider until 28 days has passed in order to give all providers an option of getting back to you with a bid. So again, going to click Save and Continue on this page. It wants to know if the contract includes voluntary extensions. That is allowed in the E-Rate program. So if you sign a contract for 5 years and the contract states that you can have voluntary extensions for another 5 years, it does need to be explicitly stated in the contract. And you can say yes here. If you do, it will ask you for how many years. So in this case, most of our programs do not have a voluntary extension, so I'm going to say no on that. You will need to have the date of the final extension and things like that figured to fill that section out. It also wants to know if there's any kind of super secret reason that you can't share the public, the pricing information with the public. In most cases, this is no. If you feel like you have a concern or a reason that your pricing should be confidential, you can click yes. Please know that someone in PIA review will be asking you about that. They're really doing a good job about trying to make all of this information public to make sure everybody's on the same level playing field as it comes to pricing. So on this very last page, you'll see it lists out everything for me, the nickname I chose, the contract ID that USAC assigned, the answers to the questions, which we all know, of course. It does link in the 470 and tells which 470 I chose, as well as any kind of account numbers and service provider information. Do double check the dates here and make sure everything is correct, and then double check that you have attached the correct named document here. Once that's done, you just click complete, and completing that will allow you to attach it to a document. If you click save and close, it's going to put this in your contract drafts. So if I click on Manage Contracts again, it's going to put it in the drafts. You cannot attach a draft contract. So if you do have that in drafts, you are going to need to submit and complete it. Again, I would have to click on that and say Edit and page back through all of the pages to then be able to submit at the end. So only can we attach submitted contracts to the 471. Then when you're then inside your 471 application and it asks you for the contract information, that is how you go about attaching the contract. You search by your BIN number for the district and this contract would show up in your list. So thank you for joining us today. I hope you found this video helpful. Again, for more support for E-Rate, visit our website at ltcillinois.org or send me an email at mfiscus, F-I-S-C-U-S, at ltcillinois.org. Thanks, and have a great day.